Imagine that. Another terrorist attack in America. Another Islamic terrorist attack in America. Yeah, I know, not all Muslims. Just most of them. Why does this keep happening? What the fuck? No gun. This time a machete. I believe eight people were injured or killed. But there's a few things here I want to show you on this CNN video. And just listen, and I'll point them out. It's pretty ridiculous.
Today, ISIS is claiming responsibility for inspiring the attack on the campus of The Ohio State University, releasing a statement on its propaganda news website. There is no evidence the claim is true. Investigators will only say they're looking at terrorism as a possible motive.
There is plenty of available evidence to indicate that this individual may have been motivated by extremism.
Plenty of evidence.
May have been motivated by a desire to carry out an act of terrorism.
A post on Abdul Artan's Facebook page just before the rampage pays tribute to Al-Qaeda cleric Anwar.
If he pays tribute to him, if he self-identifies as that, in our culture, we're constantly told by left-wing sort of, radical, that whatever they identify as, that's what they are. Call them by their pronouns. But yet when they self-identify as a Muslim who is doing this for jihad, that doesn't count. Funny how it's only then, huh? But you could say that you're a fucking giraffe gender or whatever, star gender and bullshit, and that's real?
Al-Awlaki and admonishes the United States, saying,
and see how he pledged to that imams are their political and religious leaders. This is what I'm always trying to tell people.
by Allah, we will not let you sleep unless you give peace to the Muslims. You will not celebrate or enjoy any holiday.
He said, we will not let you sleep unless you give peace to the Muslims. And I don't know if you know, but the way that they use the word peace means submission. Islam doesn't mean peace, it means submission. A lot of people say it means peace, it's sort of a secondary. And that means submission after they have killed or oppressed everyone who doesn't believe exactly what they believe. It's called Sharia. Look it up. They all openly say they want that.
Investigators are scrutinizing his cell phone and laptop and interviewing those who knew him to learn more about his motivations.
They asked me the same questions everybody else is asking, about his character. And, his character was presentable. I mean, he didn't seem or appear to pose a threat to anybody.
They never do, right?
The owner of a convenience store near Artan's home says he came in regularly, including on the day before the attack.
He came in, he grabbed whatever he wanted, and we talked for a little bit, like, hi, how you doing, was your day? I mean, that's pretty much it. And he just left, smiling, like usual, that's it.
CNN has learned Artan was born in Somalia and moved to Pakistan as a refugee in 2007. He came to the United States with his mother and siblings in 2014 on a green card.
Oh, who would have thought? A refugee? No way. Refugees are all women and small children. This is impossible. Nobody's been saying this all along. You're racist for saying that a refugee could do this. Are you sure you don't want to call them Asians like a lot of the other news story does? And that really pisses me off too, and it pisses me off for other Asians. I love Asian people, man. They don't consider Russian Asians. That's on the continent of Asia too. They only want to say Asian because they don't want to say Middle Eastern, which is what they really are. Islamic, what they always are.
A U.S. official says his family went through more than 2 years of intense vetting before being allowed into the United States.
2 years of intense vetting still didn't stop him. That's a big issue for me. Many people talk about what vetting process is needed to find them, but they're allowed to lie under Taqiyya. So 2 years of intense vetting still didn't fucking get that this guy was going to be radical and he wants all of us to die. 2 years. And Hillary Clinton wanted to let him in with a whole lot less scrutiny. What the fuck?
Abdul Razak. Once he arrived, he attended a community college and then transferred to Ohio State, where he told the student newspaper he was self-conscious about showing his Muslim faith. Artan and his family also apparently spent 23 days in Dallas
because of shit
in
like this.
2014, according to a faith-based group who worked with them, but they left for unknown reasons.
This was an 18-year-old.
Just like KKK should be ashamed of themselves for having murderous-ass, racist-ass bullshit in their doctrine. Then maybe you should be ashamed of your faith if it's a death cult that wishes that everyone else who doesn't believe exactly what you should believe should be killed. You should be ashamed of that. In the modern world, we cannot have that sort of attitude. If you cannot be civilized and not want to not kill your neighbors, then you should feel ashamed of that. You're a monster.
We don't understand his background with a family. He's an immigrant. We don't understand the issues he had integrating. One of the difficulties in these is looking at what
we all
he's
understand
comparing it to the rest of his life.
His doctrine and the reason he got there, don't we? That's never one of the fucking things that we don't understand. It's one of the things that people try to ignore and try to pretend like isn't true. But it's not something we don't understand. It's there for us to observe. On American soil, once again, we can't even go a couple weeks without this bullshit happening. Happened with a machete, with a knife. It doesn't take a gun. I'm glad it didn't happen with the gun, so the left wing can't blame that all on the white man too. But I'm not happy that it happened at all. This kind of violence is ridiculous. Anyone who makes excuses for this kind of violence is ridiculous. If you're another Muslim, I don't want any harm to come to you. But if you make excuses for this behavior, as far as I'm concerned, you're immoral. I'm Socrates. Thank you for listening. Till next time, in a genuine, true sense of the word, peace.